Live.
Hola Madrid, this is welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Also, Happy New Year's, guys. We are officially into our fourth year running. It feels great. I hope you guys are doing well. New year, same shit we thought, at least in the first stuff, but some balls made of steel kind of saved the day. Props have to be given. Like on the same note, we have to kind of slate a few of the in-game management from some of our key players. Yeah, we'll dive into it in detail. Before that, big up our sponsors, Manscaped. Go check them out. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Pioneers of below the waist grooming for men, but they also have a huge catalog of products. Nose trimmers, beard trimmers, boxers, you name it. Manscaped probably has it. Go check out Fanatics, official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Use our affiliated link when you get something from Fanatics so that they know you guys came through us. Also, if you guys didn't know, now you know this podcast is officially sponsored by the Talksport Fan Network, powered by the fans. Obviously, Talksport, the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their socials, their YouTube, etc. Some love. But yeah, man, big up Sahil, back again, new year.
Yeah.
What is the vibe like, man? This was a must win game, but for large parts, our players didn't really see it that way.
Yeah, the vibe for 85 minutes of that game was like you mentioned, New Year, same shit. With
Mm.
Valencia, you just never know what to expect. And
Yeah.
with this match, even more so because this is a
Mm.
team that's down in the relegation zone. They're supposedly on a downward trend in these recent
two,
seasons.
two wins,
Yeah, exactly.
in what, 4 or 5 months?
Just got a new manager, clearly below their usual standards.
Hmm.
Like traditionally, they're one of the bigger clubs in Spain, but
Yeah,
they're clearly struggling for form this
seven
season.
titles.
But they've
They
just
have
got a new
spent.
manager who's yeah, exactly. Just got a new manager who's been very vocal about asking more of the players, more of the fans.
Hmm.
Uh, and an electric atmosphere at Mestalla can especially be, very difficult away trip for any team in La Liga.
Hmm.
So it's a mixed sort of feeling going to Mestalla always, and as was the case this time because they made us struggle, they made us fight really hard for that win in the end. I
Yeah.
think they would have felt really hard done by the way we snatched it away, but that's what happens against Real Madrid when you turn off and even the stoppage time or the last few minutes of the match. I think for 85 minutes we were absolutely like rubbish. We were in and out of that game, but we were
Mm.
nowhere near the standard where I would say that
Yeah.
okay, we deserve to win today's game, but it's just that we turned it on in the last 10 minutes and we got what we wanted, what we came to Messiah for.
You know what? They should feel hardened by. Fuck them. A team like Valencia, like they're supposed to be one of the top dogs in La Liga, and like I used to feel a bit sorry for them because of the state of affairs their club is. Peter Lim kind of running the club to the ground and whatnot. As a football fan, you used to feel for them. But
Yeah,
as the years have gone by, and we have kind of seen different sides to Valencia, a Valencia team that basically stays in the game, but their play acting, their time wasting, their uh, literally dark gamesmanship. There is no two ways about it. I'm someone who is very vocal about our game going, south, especially regarding some of our very own players, kind of, getting drawn into all these silliness, and the game kind of losing a bit of its edge, right? But
yeah.
Valencia kind of breathes on it. Valencia basically relies on it to kind of turn games, like what
Yeah.
Atleti did.
I've always called them B-Tech Atletico Madrid, except they're
Yeah,
not nearly as consistent enough as Atleti are.
yeah, consistent enough, or as ballsy enough, as Atleti. But
Yeah.
um,
If they were a richer club,
yeah,
like if
100%.
they were managed well, I think by those Chinese owners or whatever, they would have been top six, top eight.
Valencia was, challenging for top honors, no more than 20 years ago. 20 years ago is a long time. Definitely in football, but it seems like they are kind of headed towards Segunda, and there is no way back, and rightfully so, because um when you have the chance, you got to take the game by the scruff of the neck and finish it off. And these guys, they just thought that we would basically. Um, I think it's the demeanor, right? Like when an opposition team kind of looks at how we are kind of going about the business, we might look lethargic. We might look like we are off it, miles off it, actually. But then it's the individual brilliance, the presence of mind to kind of turn games on its head that has bailed us out, on many an occasion. But yeah, man, Valencia just 7 times out of the Spanish top flight is a huge club, and no matter where they are, like you said, when we go to Mestalla, it's always an occasion. It's always an affair that always. Sahil, are we live?
Yes, Sunita, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Are we live?
We are. We are. The connection just cut off in between for some reason.
Oh, okay. Fair.
We're still
Right.
live. You can continue.
Okay. Chad, let me know if we are still. I mean, if we kind of went offline, yeah. But
Yeah, we
right. So where was I? I was kind of talking about the visit to Mestalla, right? Like over the years, it has always kind of woven such intriguing storylines constantly. The Vinicius scandal, a couple of years ago, and then the Jude Bellingham stuff last year with the ref kind of blowing the whistle when we scored the goal and whatnot. It just is expected at this point. When you visit Mestalla, there is definitely fireworks, and that's the only thing about them as a team that I would miss. Not these theatrics that they so rely on to kind of nick results. Um, but yeah, man. The burning question, right, Sahil, before we get into.
There's many actually tonight because there's
Yeah,
a lot of controversy.
a lot of controversy, right? Before we get into the nitty gritty, this should be the first thing that I need to get off my chest, right? We spoke about it before we came on, and I did tell you, Sahil, over the years, I'm a huge fan of Vinicius. I didn't expect him to turn out this good, right? Like I wasn't someone who always thought that Vinicius was always destined to be the true heir to Cristiano or whatnot, but the commendable way in which he has kind of turned his fortunes around, his game temperament, his uh, um his overall approach to big games, especially when so many players go into hiding. Vinicius steps up and carries the side. There is no two ways about it. But this aspect of him, I've always mentioned this. When I speak about it, it becomes a witch hunt, and people take it the wrong way, and people take it as me not backing the man, me not backing my own player, me not backing our supposed talisman and whatnot. My gripe is gonna be forever. Vinicius is just 1 foot away from greatness. It's just that close. Like Sahil, we have watched football long enough to know how many players have been at that doorstep. How many players have really been there with greatness,
Right.
in touching distance. Vinicius is right there, and I do think, unfortunately for him, fortunately for our opposition, right, his his ability to basically get tangled in all these silly fights, you know, these game changing moments, when a cooler head or a calmer overall mind would completely change the whole picture. Like he's just drawn into these small picture moments whereas him in his position, who's supposed to be carrying the side, has to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Well, these guys are
Right.
doing this so that they can send me off. Sahel, if you are Dimitrievski, right, and you give me a nudge, and I basically kind of it's a very soft push. It's not a shove. It's nothing. He's just attempting to kind of grab the neck, but then he just pushes the neck. It's
Yeah.
nothing really, right? Like we do this all the time with our friends. Nobody
Yeah.
is on the floor, right? Nobody is calling for the paramedics. It's just Dimitrievski knows that this is enough for VAR to make a decision, and he goes for it.
Yeah.
Can you blame him, Sahil?
No, I mean it's a very normal humanly thing to do, but for Vinicius to react that way is something that's just not acceptable on any level in football. But
You mean by
because of,
humanly thing in terms of the game, that is okay. Like he's
yeah,
looking to
as
get
I
someone sent
think,
off. Yeah, but as a grown up man, that guy should be fucking ashamed of
no,
himself, right? If
no,
his
look,
kids watch these clips back, like
I
they would
think
be telling themselves
I
that
think
I don't have a brain
if I
man
was in
for a dad.
Dimitrius, if I was in his shoes, right, and if I knew well and true in my mind that this guy is going to go off on the tiniest of provocations, because that's all it takes. It's so fragile. This guy's Vinicius is
Yeah,
is the barrier
yeah,
to his discipline.
yeah.
It's so fragile that it takes a small provocation. Okay.
Mm,
And
mm,
on the outside, it's a very normal thing to do. Like, okay, you would just pat someone. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Hear me out. And without all this context, you would okay think the keepers just patted him on his back and is a slight shove, nothing much
Mm,
to think about. But again, with knowing what we have about Vinicius, we know
mm,
that that's intentional. We know that that comes from a place where this keeper is trying to get a reaction out of this guy, and he has been
mm,
successful. Part of the
mm,
other part of that is okay that Vinicius has given the reaction that the keeper so clearly wants, given Valencia fans the reaction that they so clearly want. I don't see
mm.
Jude or Mbappe letting these sort of acts, these sort of
Yeah.
silly things get to their heads.
Jude
They're young as
gets
well.
riled up, time to
He
time,
gets
Sahil, but
riled
he
up, but
manages.
he reacts in a
Yeah,
way that
yeah.
I would admire that guy. I would look up to someone who reacts that way.
He manages it so well. Like he is
Exactly.
what 3 years younger to Vinny.
Exactly.
I don't know, man.
And it just worries me that it gets worse every time. It's not like his
Mm,
disciplinary issues are
mm.
getting any better. And we
Sahil,
know,
the other argument, right? This is caused by La Liga. This is caused by racist crowds. This is caused by hostile crowds. Sahil, this doesn't happen in the Champions League. Sahil, I think in the Champions League the stakes are so high that I think these emotions or these uh, distractions take a back seat for Vinny. I do
yeah,
think
exactly.
because
Because
like I've gone
I
through.
would love to see the same thing. I would love to see us play Atletico Madrid or Valencia in a Champions League match someday, and then see what happens. It won't.
I God
It will
forbid
surprise
we
people.
face them this year. It's gonna be it's gonna be
No,
another
it will surprise
instance
people
of what we dread the most. Mm,
because Vinicius in Champions League games is just a different demon for me.
mm,
There's no way he's letting this sort of thing affect him in a Champions League game. I don't know what happens to him in Spain, and I don't know if because it was defendable to a certain point where it was okay, it was actually um, racist fans getting on his mind.
mm,
Now it's just the players that I don't know why he preemptively wants to think that every player on the opposition is an
mm.
enemy. I know Valencia players and fans are no saints,
Yeah.
but come on, man, there's got to be a limit.
Mm,
There's got to be somewhere you've got to draw the
mm,
line.
mm. This is the thing, like we as Madrid fans, and even the general public, right? Like when Vinicius was targeted, like what we think happens, in games, in stadiums, away fans, like they would kind of rely on such antics to get under people's skin. That
Yeah,
has been the age old method, right? Like this has
exactly.
been all throughout history, no matter what um like phase of walk of life you're in. If you're, let's say, working in a company, like if someone wants to get one at you, they would stoop to these kind of lows. It happens everywhere. This isn't a newfound phenomena, right? Like this is something that Vinny should be used to. But
Right.
what Vinny should really understand is the fact that all this should be on the side, honestly. Like all the good work and whatever he's aiming to do should be off the pitch, not on the pitch. Yeah, you can walk off, right? You can walk off and call off games. People have done that. Like I think La Liga isn't necessarily gonna be backing it, or I'll be very surprised if something like that happens.
They'll be
But
forced to actually. With if
mm,
something of that
mm,
magnitude happens,
mm,
if he walks off someday, and if the rest of the team decides to walk off at a
yeah,
Mestalla, at
yeah.
the Metropolitano or whatever, it's
Mm.
going to be a big enough statement and enough media attention and enough fans
It'll
will.
never happen in Spain, Sahil. I'll
I
tell you.
think I think
Right?
it'll happen. The day that happens, La Liga will be forced to take action, but it's just not happened up until now. It was very close to
You have
being
much
the
better
case.
faith in humanity than I do,
It
but
was it was much close to being the case at the
mm,
last derby.
mm.
But yeah,
let's
things.
let's let's hope for better days. But that
Mm,
aside, Vinicius completely has to change the way he look at these guys trying to provoke him. He should
yeah,
he should take the better. He should be the bigger man. I mean, it's not easy in this world, especially in football. Like
yeah.
everybody wants to get at you, right? Like it's the norm. But Vinicius has to take the team's best interest in mind and pull himself away from these kind of silly silly antics, man. Like let it be. Like he pushed you. Yeah. So what? He's asking you to just get up and get on with it, right? Like he's basically trying to kind of, like you said, evoke a reaction, and you completely take the bait for
Giving
what,
in to
right?
that. Yes,
Yeah. And then the whole, he wants to get a load of the referee once he gives the red card. I mean, what is he expecting?
that was just pathetic. The way Rudiger had
Cristiano
to
didn't
drag
do
him
it.
away.
you
The
know
way Rudiger had to drag him away.
Suarez, he used to bite people, right? He has never gone to such extents. Like I don't remember. Maybe my memory is kind of jaded after all these years, but
Yeah,
all those historically very notorious figures, like Pepe hasn't been like this. Like I haven't seen Pepe go to such lengths to kind of and those were much more heated matches. This Valencia game between us in second and them being 20th is nothing. Pepe used to be a lot more street smart when it came to moments like this, especially in Clásicos where it got out of hand. But yeah, let's move on, man. There is no point. He should grow the fuck up and ASAP, you know. And like I just hope the Champions League version of El Dhabi doesn't happen in this era with these kids. I don't think they'll be able to take it.
I'm
Like
intrigued myself.
I'm just being honest. But yeah, where should we start? The first half. Let's just briefly
Yeah,
go through it. Man, Sahil, we just invited them on for no absolute reason, right? Like Valencia aside, we know they like to play football. They have a few technicians, right? Like Javi Guerra is brilliant passer of the ball. Like he's very neat on his feet. Fulke has been there for a few years. He's a stalwart of some sort. But apart from few players who have something about them, especially in attack, Hugo Duro, like he had a very good season. I think the year before the last, right? Like he was firing on all cylinders. But since then, like he has been blowing hot and cold, and never has been a consistent, reliable supply of goals for
up until
Valencia.
tonight,
Because yeah,
the
I
ex player,
mean,
the ex player curse.
you can call it the X player because I just call it us being lackadaisical. Like how
Mm,
many times before that, Sahil, like uh, deep runs from midfield, especially a full gear, never gets picked up. We just wait for them to break down. We wait for the attack to break down in some god, some divine intervention. Like we just aren't proactive enough. Like we just wait for stuff to happen in our favor. Um,
yeah,
because that exact play happened at least thrice before that goal eventually found the
exactly.
back of the net. So.
It was Vinicius to Bellingham and then to Mbappe the first time, and then later it was Brahim to Bellingham. Or are you talking about Valencia's goal?
I'm talking about Valencia's goal, Sahil.
Oh, okay. Valencia's goal also. Yeah.
I
Hugo
hope
Duro
you're
was
not
one
sleeping,
touch.
Sahil. I know
No, no,
you were
no.
sleepy. Okay, fair enough.
I was no, I thought you were talking about our goal actually. Our
Yeah,
that exact play
remember the
also happened
instances.
twice, but it was offside before that. Hugo Duro's goal, man. I don't know. It
Mm.
was just we expect of Vasquez what we expect of Vasquez. The same thing happened with Mendy on the other side, but then I'm just incredibly disappointed again in Mendy's defensive work. Again, Valencia break. They win the ball in the middle of the pitch. They force that turnover,
Yeah.
and we just succumb to the pressure because we don't react in an instant. Our players are jogging, uh, and Valencia are just very quick to react in that moment because
Mm.
Hugo Duro darts past Vasquez, right?
Yeah.
And and then suddenly he's just there in the box out of nowhere. Vasquez is too slow to react, and Valencia have the ball out on the right. Fouquier crosses it in. It just happened too quickly for any of our players to react. That's all I can say.
Fulkia didn't cross it in. Fulkia, like, was it Fulkia? I think it
I
was
think it was
Javi.
Fouquier. I think it was
Fulkia
Fouquier
crosses
who
it.
crossed it in. Yeah,
Javi Guerra shoots the ball and then it gets
yeah.
saved by
And then
Debo.
Hugo Duro.
Euro taps it in. But the thing is, like I was saying,
All of our defenses got ball watching, by the way. Like not one
it
player. Tchouaméni,
yeah.
Rudiger, all of them.
This is a this is something that we literally watch it unfold basically in quick succession. Like I've written it down in the first 10 minutes they had similar chances, three big chances. The Hugo Duro kind of double save Thibaut had,
Yep.
then the Fulkia chance
For the
where
first 10 minutes, yeah.
the Fulke basically just marauding. Like he isn't supposed to be a guy who should have, or who should at least on the eye test look like someone who has the the skill set of, let's say, Jude Bellingham.
Yep.
Not the feet necessarily, but the movement, right? Like he is he's basically like a bull, right? Like he's not even a Michael Essien prototype. He's someone who is you know he's a guy who breaks up attacks and basically helps in progressing the ball. Like he's not someone who makes late runs and finishes off attacks. Like we just allowed him to kind of sneak in there. Like Mendy, man, like you said, shocking. Like how are we going to go into the pivotal part of the season, right? The last 3-4 defining months of the season, competing on all fronts with Vasquez and Mendy in this vein of form. Our flanks are getting obliterated like every single fucking match day. It's a serious concern. Like, Chouameni and Rudiger kind of holding their own, decently, right, Sahil? But the flanks, I mean, what are we going to
Yeah,
do?
but yeah, it's always them to the opposition team, regardless of what team we're playing
Yeah,
against. It's always
yeah.
Mendy and Vasquez that are being targeted. And Vasquez,
Mm.
again, like I mentioned, we know what Vasquez is, but Mendy was much, much better than this when the season started. And he's just declined to a level that is now, making us question even his place in the team. I know we're focusing a lot on Trent and him coming and whatever
Hmm.
he's, but even the left side, I think it needs serious reinforcing now with Mendy in this sort of form.
Fran Garcia is no different. All these guys, man, they have to really step up because in
Yeah,
the Champions League, a mistake is a mistake that's going to cost you the entire tie. There is no coming back, right? Like
yeah.
it's going to be fatal. That's the whole thing. At least, like I'm Mendy's biggest stan, right? Like, but Vasquez at least on the break, especially going forward, he is a constant, very very defined presence.
Exactly.
Whereas Mendy is an absolute passenger, on both sides
And
of
did
the
you see
game.
how
It's
instant
mm,
Kamavinga's impact was after he was brought on
yeah, yeah.
from left
I
back?
just don't want him playing left back in big games, Sahil. I just
I
don't
don't either, but
fucking.
Ancelotti does it because he has to. I mean, you either find somewhere to fit him in midfield.
Mm,
Because of the way Ceballos has been playing lately, I don't think he's going to do that. But
yeah.
if there's no way for him to start games, he might come on from the bench for either one of the midfielders or the one left back who's not performing.
Mm,
Because I don't see that kind of impact from Fran Garcia either. I know I've praised
yeah,
him enough, but no.
yeah.
This is somebody who can bring that sort of impact from any position in the field. So regardless of where you put Kamavinga in, you're gonna get a
Mm,
reaction
mm.
from the team.
Yeah. Um, Also, quickly, when they actually scored, I hope you saw the replay where
Mm-hmm.
Rodrigo basically gets kind of, the ball nicked off
He,
him. Do you
yeah,
think it
they
was a
were.
foul, or was it
Nah, I think it was
was
fair.
it
There were
him
multiple
reaching?
impacts. It just felt like it because he stole the ball from. It was there was impact, but I don't think there was
Mm.
enough to call a foul.
I have to, since we were on it, I just have to pick up Vasquez for that slide tackle.
Mhm.
Especially when Canos kind of cuts it back, and he
Yeah,
makes a
yeah,
vital
I was,
sliding
yeah.
interception, big
I
one,
had
crucial one.
my heart in my mouth at that moment. I thought he
Yeah,
was gone. I thought he was a
yeah.
penny, but yeah,
My goodness, but
thankfully got the
see,
ball.
he's a real character. That's why I just hold back so much when there are legitimate reasons to criticize Vasquez.
Exactly.
He just steps up, man. He it just his blood is built different.
He knows what he is, right? He knows he's not a low risk player, and he doesn't try to behave in another way. But
Yeah.
Mendy, I don't know. At this point, he's stuck in between two minds as well. Sometimes
Mm,
in between games, like he's trying to be something he isn't, and even at what he's good at, he's not good
yeah.
enough at this point.
Moving on, the second half started. My goodness, the amount of incidents in the second half. It kind of
Yeah.
started off slow, but then
Very, very
the
stop
yeah,
game in the second half.
and the pen, right? The pen. Let's talk about the pen side. When Mbappe gets like until then, Mbappe was kind of invincible. I mean, invisible. Like he wasn't really impacting the game. He was on the fringes. It was Vinny and Jude and Rodrigo to an extent doing the heavy lifting. But Mbappe was kind of shifted in and out of the game with nothing to really say much. But that pen was entirely on him. Like he made a
Hmm.
brilliant run and holds out the defender, and he doesn't have
And he made sure his
much.
his right leg was in the way.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like Mbappe, like I'm really, really kind of starting to think that he has completely turned the corner and looks like someone who's going to be pivotal if we're going to stand a chance to win our first historic treble. Like I don't want to jinx it, but this
Okay.
might be the year. If
Yep.
these guys are on it. But
But do you
yeah, the
not think
pen.
that he's still not doing himself enough justice by being offside 4 or 5 times every game? Like I
That is
know
true. That is
the
true.
spark is there. I know the
Mm.
edge to his game has sort of come back, and it's still
Yeah.
in the process of coming back. But
Side, do you
still
know
not
why I'm
giving
so
himself.
happy? Because the bar was on the floor, Sahib. You remember how I was 2 months ago,
Yeah,
Sahib?
I do. I do. I do.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah. But that's a very valid question. Like I ask myself these questions during games. Like if he could be a little more smart about his timing, right? Like a little
Exactly.
more, he would score three more goals per game than he does now. It is the literal fact. Like we don't need to muck about it. It's just like he just hasn't really gotten that timing perfected yet. Once he gets that, he's just gonna explode. I think it's only a matter of time, sorry. And like you said, he's getting his edge back, and he's just finding himself in the right moments in games, to make an impact.
Yeah.
And couldn't be happier, to be honest. But the
Someone
Jude
who
Pence,
I think has lost his edge a bit, I think, is Rodrigo. I don't know, even in front of goal, he just seems very lackluster to me. And
mm,
one on one, I don't see the same kind of spark that was there before his injury.
Rodrigo is this player that we have to like. I'm his biggest fanboy. You know, he is literally the guy I love the most. I've said this on many occasions, but sadly, I think at this point, what 3, 4, 5 years now, with us, I'll be really devastated the day he leaves. I don't want him to leave. I still think he will be immense from the bench, and he'll be the best 12th man we have had for years.
Mhm.
But he'll have these phases where he is, not having an impact. But then, boom! a Manchester City type pops up, he'll be the one there to make an impact and steal the day. So
Yeah, I would hope
like,
so.
I mean, we are a team that's going to be playing 60, 70 games every year. We're going to be needing depth, and Rodrigo is S tier depth, Sahil. He's going to be starting everywhere else.
Everywhere else.
So
That's true.
so he'll still come good this season. Just you know it, I know it,
Yeah,
everybody
I
knows
just
it.
hope to see him, firing on the goals and assists front.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. He just had that one big chance where he kind of mistimed the jump or his anticipation of the flight of the ball. It was a bit flatter, the cross from Germany.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
he could have done better, but yeah, it is what it is.
But yeah, he's
But
just not
talking about
getting into enough positions at this moment.
100%, 100%, he should be doing a lot better. Like I expect, Rodrigo to be as impactful as Vinny and Mbappe, but yeah, sadly not happening for him at this moment. He had an injury that kind of was a roadblock for him this season, but hopefully he gets back to his very best very soon. But the pen style,
Yeah, I was going to come to that.
like when Mbappe goes down, Jude goes over and asks him, "Shall I take the pen? Do you want the pen or something along those lines?" And Mbappe says, "No, no, no, you take it." Like I'm not an expert at lip reading, but by
Right.
my very novice
Expressions, yeah. The
skill
expressions
set,
give it
and
away.
I did lip read style. Give me some fucking credit. I just was trying to be humble, but you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
He said you can take it, but then Jude goes and takes it and completely butchers the chance. Like we've seen him completely kind of take the moment and deliver countless times, but this time he just gets it awfully wrong.
Yeah.
Is it the hop for you that kind of
I,
makes a mess?
no, it's just the placement. He just gets it right. It
I'm just
because
trying to
it would
bait you,
have
but
been
mm,
right. He scored 4 out of 4 before this, and it's the first one. I know it's not a big sample size, and that's something we can't really take away
but
from.
he seems to
Seeing
be the
4 out of 4 still
most
100%.
efficient, right, alongside Vinicius.
Yeah, four out of 4 still 100% before this,
Mm,
and this is his
mm,
first miss, so you've got to give him some leeway.
mhm.
Having said that, it's not like we've got specialist penalty takers in our
Yeah.
ranks who are
And
waiting to
why
pass.
haven't we, Sahil? Sahil,
Why
can you
haven't
answer
we?
me that question? We are the biggest team in the world.
Yeah, just none of our other forwards, as big of superstars as they are, they don't have the cojones to put away penalties. You know, I know both of them, both of Vinicius
You
and
know how
Mbappe.
crazy that sounds, Sahil?
Exactly, and both of Vinicius and Mbappe look up to Cristiano.
It's
So
mad. It's mad.
I would assume that they would try and perfect something that is. I mean, it's basically a free goal for somebody as
Mm,
talented as these
yeah.
guys.
Once Benzema came in, okay, but do you remember who was our pen taker before Benzema?
Was it before Benzema and after Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Was it Modric? No.
You're sleepy. Ramos.
Oh,
And you
Ramos,
remember
right?
how
Okay.
effective he was, right? His
Ramos
technique,
for that 1 year, yes.
ice cold.
For that one season, he was, yeah. I think he took quite a few, and he scored each one of them. I think
Yeah.
he had
So
that
that
record going on
he,
as
he
well.
was a specialist. He
Yeah,
was a
he had 18
specialist.
out of 18. Yeah. How
So
did how did Ramos
mm,
slip out of my mind?
I mean, it's late night for you. It's okay. But the thing is, my concern is exactly that. Like we need someone who specializes it. Like I don't like Carlo. Like even Tivo was full of praise during the Globe Soccer Awards and whatnot.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, Carlo lets the team do its own thing. He just facilitates
Yeah.
the team to be in harmony and whatnot. But this is gonna bite us, in our backsides. Come
Indeed.
probably.
Indeed. We played Liverpool and we missed a pen.
There you go. People shouldn't be deciding amongst themselves in the last
Exactly.
heat of the moment to take a pivotal pen. It's basically who is feeling it in the moment, and they basically kind of form a mini
Yeah,
committee, and
especially
make
if
a
it
decision.
means something in the general context of the game.
Mm.
If it's a dead rubber game and if it's already 3-0 or something, then it
Yeah,
doesn't
then
really
it's okay. They can
affect
fucking
us
play
that
paper.
much.
rock paper scissors, right? Sahil, it's okay. But yeah, Jude misses it, and then all hell breaks loose. The crowd is up. They feel like this is gonna be their night. But then, boom, Mbappe scores a brilliant. We should literally call it. The way it was. It was a fucking solo goal because no way in hell, with the pace he was running at, he basically tricks Dimitrievski. And at the last second, and boots it in. Like, it was a perfect showcase for what Mbappe is all about. But then the offside, right, Dane's such a brilliant move. Vinny
Exactly.
did well to nick the ball back and whatnot. But the automated, was it the automated offline? Offside system that kind of showed it was his toe, bro.
Yeah,
Basically, it's just
it was just and it's millimeters.
yeah.
I don't know if the the graphics have got the toe size or the finger size of the players accurate down to the last millimeter, but that's what it showed. So
Mm,
that's what we have to take.
crazy
Okay.
stuff. But yeah, it was a very very good move.
Yep.
But then
Agreed.
the red happens after it, right? The red happens, and then Luka Modric comes on and whatnot.
Completely changes the game. He's everywhere. He's between the centre backs, and then he's on the other end to score the goal. He's come
Yeah,
on with the expression. He's seen Vinicius just get sent off. He's calm,
yeah,
cool as you
yeah,
like. Comes on the
yeah.
pitch, takes the game by the scruff of the neck. Like he's taken control of the game. Absolute, like that is what I call class, man.
He's a man
That's
mountain when it comes to game defining characters. He is
true.
one. Like you look at our
And
glorious
you wouldn't fancy
decade.
some,
Yeah,
yeah,
mm,
you wouldn't fancy Modric being in that position. He's
mm,
not someone who gets in those kinds of positions usually, but he's
yeah,
also not someone who would typically run 40 yards back to slide tackle Messi. Needed that when he was asked to, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
in any given situation of the game, you can put Modric on, and he can do the job for you. I was full of confidence when I saw him come on. In fact, I was like, why didn't he bring Modric on earlier?
Earlier, and
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna miss the next game. But thankfully, it's at
sadly,
home.
yeah, because of the yellow card.
Yellow card. But there you go. Like this guy, he just is like when our team is off it, he might be off it as well. Like it's a collective collapse. But then
Yeah,
when the team smells blood, like we did, when Valencia, we saw in their eyes, they knew, we knew that any lapse of concentration from their part, or any half chance that was gonna be thrown our way,
yeah.
was gonna be completely taken advantage of. And Modric was right there, man. Like he was hanging there, so many occasions, outside the box, like you're mentioning,
And he
even
managed to stay off.
deeper.
He
Mm,
managed to stay onside.
that was a brilliant move, right? Brahim again. He loses the ball,
Mhm.
boom, half a millisecond, he wins it back. This guy, like I'm telling you, he has the best. He should have the best. Um, he should have like a special trait or some shit in FIFA, whereby he it's on a cooldown. As soon as he
Yeah.
loses possession, or the team loses possession, Brahim has a 20 to 25-second boost to his defensive attributes, because he is a cheat code out of possession in so many occasions, especially in late in games. It's like
True.
it's it's not happenstance, right? So by this point, Brahim has shown us on so many occasions, like he literally factors, the reignition of an attack that seemed to be going nowhere, right? Yeah, tremendous, tremendous, tremendous player to have,
And then
especially on
Jude
the
just
bench.
lays it on a platter for Luka.
Mm.
And he's done that
And
once before in the game. The exact same thing, Jude.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Talking
I
about
mean,
this, yeah, offside.
he completely gets vindicated for his miss, and like Luka Modric, eye school to slot it past Dimitrievski. Man, I was so fucking happy. Like I didn't at that point I didn't even care about the result, because I was so livid about, what Dimitrievski did and whatnot, and, how their players were kind of getting cockier by the second, thinking, they have nicked a huge win. But then, reality hits you in the form of Real Madrid to opponents all throughout our history. It just happens. It's just, it's always magnetic, like how it happens, right? So like it, there is a moment that precedes a moment, and then once it happens, you kind of know how it traveled. It's just so poetic to
the
watch
rest of the
shit unfold.
story writes itself.
And that just paved way for some title winning fucking mentality from the boys, man. Sahil, come on, like, we have to really talk about it, right? We scored that goal, we could sit back, right, Sahil? We could sit back, take a point. People would sing our praises, right? The team necessarily would be shown in better light, apart from Vinny. We'll be talked about in very positive terms regarding how we showed cojones, how we showed character, how characters like Modric stepped up at what, 40, and kind of salvaged the game and whatnot. But what didn't we do? We didn't sit on our laurels. We basically said, we are gonna get 3 points out of here. When 10 minutes ago it was looking like we're getting 0, we are gonna go for it. We are gonna go for the jugular.
Once you get the leveler, you've got to go for, especially if the referee's given more than 5-6 minutes of stoppage time, which in this case was true.
But it was a dangerous game, Sahil.
It was, and we knew we could have suffered going the other way around as well, because Valencia could have very easily gone and countered.
Because you remember how high we were pressing all of our midfielders. It was crazy. It was anxiety-inducing fucking stuff, man.
And
like, I couldn't watch.
We were basically playing with just 2 defenders, because at that point Vasquez and Camavinga were high up on the pitch.
Yeah, and Rudiger was on the halfway line.
Do you know what? As much as we applaud this every time this happens, do you like the way we're? I mean, I know this happens every season pretty much.
I know, yeah.
It comes a point, but I don't know if it's the right word to use. We're just becoming a reactionary team, and every time
Farouk has always.
Yeah, I know, as always, but still, it's more than I've observed in previous seasons. With either something happens where the other team lays it on a platter for us.
Yeah,
we don't seem to be creating. I don't know, like taking the initiative from our side from minute one. I want to see.
I know, Sahil. But shall I tell you? Shall I kind of entertain you with my non-rational explanation?
It's not gonna happen.
Right? Leave your brains at the door and welcome to my humble abode. I'll tell you this one simple trick. Right? We fool opposition into thinking, oh, we are having a bad day. It's going all in their favor, and then we strike. That's what we do, Sahil, and I think we are getting away with it for now. But there'll be results. There'll be results that bite us the wrong way, like we saw in the Champions League. Lille away, if you remember, and then Milan at home. We can't salvage games all the time, but then when it happens, Sahil, it has to be a lot more sweeter than when we have a 3-0 thumping. Surely, Sahil, because when we're looking at the context,
the aftertaste it leaves is definitely sweeter. Like,
because you see me, I'm fucking like it's almost like I'm having the high of drinking 5 to 6 Red Bulls. It's just so fucking electric. The way we do shit. Like, going into this, people would say Mestalla, tough place to go. Madrid has always had we have like 2 wins in 10 games. Now we have 3 wins in 11. But going into this, people would say, oh, yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky. But you know what? They're going to win, nevertheless. 2-0 easy. That's what anyone would predict, right? But then what we put on show, this will be stuff of legends if we win the league. And Sahil, the way we came back, Jude Bellingham again, full gear. How many times, man? Donnarumma, right? Years before, who was that? The fucking Bayern keeper, the Bayern number 2, who basically gave us the Benzema goal.
The Benzema goal, yeah. Ulreich.
So it's, like this happens to everyone. Nobody is safe. Fulke was having a blinder up until then. And then at the most unexpected moment, he just has, a pass that is a little underpowered. You wouldn't say that's a shocking pass, but it is a pass that is made under pressure. He knows, Fede and the boys are there, they're kind of stiff it, right? But then again, Sahil, this isn't luck, Sahil. Come on. You have
Yeah,
to you have to
it
kind of
definitely is.
recognize
I
this
know
is fucking
we make
greatness.
our own luck, even if it is luck. It's
Simple as.
fucking, the difference between a perfect pass and what Fulquier made was very,
Mm.
very, it was
Very
small,
thin. Very
it was
thin.
tiny. And we pounced on that. So those are the
Mm.
details that win you these games. And I
Yeah.
think you've got to commend Jude, guys like Brahim Fede, who
Jude's
bounced
finish.
balls.
Does it seem like the 96th minute last chance of the game? He's nervous. You see the
So
the
level-headed.
audacity to finish it the way he did, man.
Exactly.
Jude
So,
Bellingham,
so
different
level-headed.
gravy. 7 goals, 4 assists in his last 8 games. This is surely player of the season stuff alongside Vinny, right? Like he
Yeah,
should be up there.
definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
This Jude is just this gift that keeps giving, man. Even if he doesn't get all these goals and assists, I don't mind.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing what he's supposed to.
Very satisfying night. Let me get to a few of the comments quickly. Big up every single one of you who were here, who are still here.
Ashik
Smash the
seems to
likes
be
if you
quite
haven't.
critical of Vinny.
What was that, sir?
Ashik seems to be quite critical of Vinny, and I mean, fair enough.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. So Ashik was mentioning Luca's a fucking leader. Something I can't say about Winnie. I'm done with that kid. He can score 1 million goals and win 1 million trophies for Madrid. I want to know how much can we fetch for him. That is just him talking at the moment. That's no way. That's no way Ashik in his senses, at least for now. Immature, unprofessional, and has no vision of the large picture. You are not playing house league. This is pro football. Away fans will always try to get under your skin. Grow the fuck up. Can you fault him, Sai? Right? Can you fault him for saying that? You can't.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna copy paste that into Vinny's DMs. Honestly,
Right. I mean, Vinny,
it's
man,
perfect.
come on.
Man,
That's the. You're gonna do it right now? Okay, fair enough.
it
Ashik, there
speaks
you
for all
go.
of us. Yeah,
But yeah, man. See, that's the only bit that is kind of holding it back. Like we talked about it, in the beginning. He's just one step away from greatness,
greatness.
right? Pe- there are so many people who have won a couple of leagues, a Ballon d'Or, and a couple of Champions Leagues. They don't get talked about in the same vein as your who are the next tier below Cristiano and Messi. Cristiano and Messi are never getting.
Your Lewandowski's and your Benzemas. I mean,
There you go. There you go.
longevity speaks for something. I think if Vinny's gonna keep going, for a long time in his career, he's
Yeah.
got an element of discipline because
Mm.
eventually there'll come a time when his performances drop off, but the fans are not going to like him as much, even our
Mm.
own fans. I tell you that.
Yeah.
So he
I'll
needs to
be
buy that time
mm,
with the fans.
100%. Also, I'll be very, very keen to know. Like, if I had a time travel machine, I would travel 10 years into the future and kind of understand what Winnie has become at 34
Yeah.
or 33. Especially when he has lost 3-4 years of pace. It'll be an
How
interesting
he adapts to
conversation.
his game
Mm,
to what will then be modern football for that.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll
Mm.
certainly be interesting.
But yeah, but the topic was maturity. I hope he is. But then I see guys like Cristiano. It's funny. Cristiano is like in many ways the same he
That's
was when he was 25, 26. It's- I don't
he's
think you
not
can teach people that.
as extreme, I don't think.
He's not as extreme, but you can still
Yeah.
see the. I still see the same pettiness from Cristiano at 40. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's just as there. He's there.
I
He's not
mean,
as
also football today
in your
is a
face
lot
as
more
Winnie,
reaction.
you know. But yeah. Ashik was mentioning what is Rodrigo's purpose on the pitch exactly? Anonymous as usual. Come on, man. He was one of our sole shining lights in the first half. He did something. I mean, not enough. to warrant exactly much sympathy, 100%. But in the first half, apart from Vinny's couple of, darting runs, it was Rodrigo with all the heavy lifting. Ashish was mentioning notice how we focus more on our football than whining and bitching after Vinny got voted out. That's the thing, right? Like we
Our players
collectively,
do the whining for us. That one player.
well, like I didn't quite catch that. What do you
No,
mean?
as in we don't have to whine about the referee's decision because our player just got sent off doing exactly that on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean it's something that kind of is very contagious, right, Sahil? Like if you and me are playing football, right? Like I'm kind of like I woke up on my left, right, and I'm kind of having a bad day. You would feed off it as well. Like if I'm throwing my hands up in the air and kind of getting whiny after every decision, like
Yeah.
you would be like, oh yeah, like, look at my guy, like he has had it, the ref fucking the ref better fucking um get up to speed with what the game is. They're going to be thinking we are kind of be given the short end, but in reality we are just overblowing stuff out of proportion. Like this happens in La Liga too much, man. Yeah. Ashik was mentioning we were constantly beaten on the flanks today, almost as if we didn't play with any fullbacks. They got Farooq. Go on, sir.
Yeah, we didn't. They were two mannequins.
Mm. Has been for most parts of the season, right? So,
Yep.
you could say that they are the biggest culprits in why we had a shocking start of the season.
Yeah, our defensive collapse is mostly down to our fullbacks. Can't lie.
And the injury to Carvajal as well. Holy shit! And even before the injury, Carvajal was shaky, man. He was shaky. Farooq was mentioning, because Farooq is mentioning, man is the best player in the world, but still can't take some schoolyard provocation. See, this is the thing. When he needs to do some emotional growing. Yeah.
Be a role
Like
model.
I wouldn't. What was that, side?
Be a role model. Do your job. I'm channeling my inner Roy Keane.
Oh yeah, Roy. You need to have some grey before it, but good luck. A Flame Boy was mentioning, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Wa alaikum assalam. Ashik, right. Ifti, big up Ifti was mentioning this fucking ref. How was the penalty not retaken? Their player was inside the box and the keeper off the line. Rodrigo getting foul not given led to them scoring. I think the pen being not retaken is because the goalkeeper doesn't really have an impact on what happens during the pen. Because if he saves the pen, I think
he saves the pen, then it's different. Yeah.
Right. Ashik was mentioning the penalty should have been retaken for encroachment. I don't remember the encroachment. Maybe I didn't look
there
hard
was
enough.
a still when just as Bellingham was about to take it, the Valencia players.
But Sahil, that happens every week.
It happens
Every week.
everywhere.
Every week. Like I
It's
don't know
not
why the
enforced.
fuck.
That law rarely enforced.
Yeah.
So
Football is a funny game, right? Like we have like 200 fucking lines of laws, right? But then
we don't
only
even
10 lines are enforced to its full extent. It's crazy. But yeah, if they was mentioning, not surprising as to why Vinny doesn't win Ballon d'Or because of his on-field drama. I don't think that's the case, but getting a yellow card against Colombia and Copa America and missing semi-final, yeah, there you go. Okay, I didn't read the second half. Bang on. If I remember that. There is a thing with me. I just fucking forget all the fucking nasty stuff. Like I just have this. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. I just completely put that on the back burner. But yeah, brilliant point. I sat through that fucking game, man, against Colombia. It was a silly foul. There was the player was going nowhere. He just made a foul for the sake of it, and boom, he's out of the semi-final against Uruguay. And then what happened? Was it the quarterfinal? I think it was the quarterfinal against Uruguay. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, Ashik was mentioning when he ain't no leader. Like he needs to be a leader, man. He's gonna be leading the side for the next 5, 6, 7 years. He's gotta be a better leader. Vinny is mostly gonna miss 4 games, says FT, and might miss the whole Spanish Super Cup. What really? Does it apply to
does it
the?
also come under what RFEF?
I'm not sure.
I think it carries over. Oh, that's terrible. Because our next league game is all the way on the 19th. We're playing Super Copa and Spanish Cup in between.
Copa del Rey.
Yeah, that'll be terrible.
Right. Ashik was mentioning
But
Valencia
again,
and the
another
fans.
chance for Rodrigo to step up because I can only assume that, I mean, either Rodrigo or Mbappe plays on the left wing. So
Rodrigo might step up and shine, man. Mallorca and Deportivo Minera or I think it's
yeah,
Minera or
yeah.
Minera, yeah, Deportivo
Chance to
Minera.
start, man.
Like I wouldn't like I man, this is just the bar is so low. I don't want Rodrigo to really step up during the fucking Copa del Rey, but he has done it. Remember, was it last year or the year before?
Yeah,
Like he
give
goes
me
away to these.
flashbacks from Alcoyano.
Oh yeah, oh my god, don't even. But yeah, he goes away to these minnows and performs pretty well. But then I need him to be doing this week in week out.
Yeah,
Um, right. Ashik was mentioning Valencia and the fans' lack of class and cowardice shows why these rats are rotting in relegation zone. I hope they get relegated. um, right. Ashik was mentioning Super Copa is organized by the RFEF, and so is the Copa. I don't think La Liga Red Card carries on to those matches. Yeah, there you go. I didn't think so either. Um, right. Rodrigo's the same age as Vinny says. How is he more mature? It's just he's wired differently. Rodrigo, I've seen Rodrigo lose it sometimes, but it's mostly when his teammates are also losing. He
yeah.
doesn't kind of initiate stuff. Right. Rajat was mentioning we are not winning. What does he mean by that? We're not winning the league, or what? We're not
The
winning
league,
any
I
major
think.
title.
Yeah, you can only mean it in one context. Yeah, the league, I think.
Mm. I hope you're wrong, Rajat. I hope you have better belief than I do because I'm a
I think
fucking.
he hopes he's wrong too.
What was that, Sahil?
I think he hopes he's wrong as well.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just good to be pessimistic for the sake of it.
I'm very pessimistic, and I do think we have a very strong shot for winning the league.
Yeah, especially
Compared to
because in a year where nobody wants the league, yeah, it's just one of those seasons, right?
mm, compared to how we were 2 months ago, Sahil. This is title winning shit, Sahil.
Yeah,
I do believe.
this
Mm,
seems to be the start of our, the run that takes us to the league.
mm.
But I still wouldn't uh, consider it, done and dusted even up until like the 30, because this is halfway through the
Oh yeah,
season.
nothing
We're
is done and
creating,
dusted. Mm.
yeah, even if we're say what 7-9 points ahead, I don't think I
Yeah,
would consider it in our bag.
yeah, yeah. I didn't really insinuate that
Yeah,
we have won the league. I just think that these matches really show champion character.
mentality. Yeah.
So yeah, big up Dennis. He was mentioning Happy New Year, Sunaid, and the chat. Hala Madrid. Happy New Year's to you too, bro. Hope you're well, mate. Um, Ashkan mentioned. Oh, Carlo was mentioning we were so bad in the first half that I couldn't believe my eyes. Apparently, Carlos said that. I don't know what to say. But I'll just basically console myself in the fact that when we come back from Christmas break, it's always the same thing, right, Sahil? Like this isn't new.
Yeah, it's
We are
Hungary.
extra slow. All the turkey and the celebration gets to people. It's understandable, but then we survived. We survived. That's all
Win's a
that
win.
matters. Win is a win. Win is a win. Um,
Oh, that
right.
that last one's hilarious.
What was that?
That last one's hilarious from Ashik.
Ashik was mentioning, win or not, at least we register our players on time for a full season without selling VIP booths. I don't know. Barcelona is a fucking joke. Right. So Jude Bellingham has reached 50 goal contributions for Madrid. That was his 50th goal contribution.
Wow, that was quick.
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right. Oh, it's Tony Kroos's birthday as well. I think it's probably tomorrow. But yeah,
What is he,
just randomly.
36 or 35?
Yeah, it should be 36, I think.
Yeah. I
Oh,
still
no,
think
35, 35, 35, 35,
35
35.
could have easily played on, man.
100%.
Especially
Yeah,
seeing the
Luka.
kind of things Modric
Mm,
is doing at what, 39?
yeah, but Luka Modric has the athleticism. He has always had it. Luka,
Yeah, that's true.
you know,
Still.
Tony isn't about that, and
Yeah.
it's about his German mentality as well. He doesn't want to go off on a low.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
also true.
you win a double in the fashion we did. He's gonna say, "Fuck this," I'm gonna walk away. But yeah, unfortunately for us, it's gonna hit hard. Uh, but yeah, Luka Modric, man, in 19 minutes, 4 recoveries. There you go. 15 out of 17 passes completed. 23 touches, 2 out of 3 long balls completed. 1 interception, 1 tackle. Bro, this guy is built different. But yeah, Pata Musashi become most people mentioning Vamos lads. Big, big performance. Big performance. Final thoughts, Sahil.
Yeah, we're not playing in the league for a while, and it was vital that we get this win
Mm,
because again, Barca have been in a slump before this, and Atleti are still pretty much on level, but we had to win this in a way. We didn't win convincingly, but we
mm,
won in the end, and that's what matters. But if you really try to nitpick, there's a lot that you can use for constructive criticism. There's
mhm,
many moments of controversy, and I'm sure we've gone over most of them. Yeah, it's just we've got to get the job done in the league now. Uh, in
mm.
the Super Cup and the Copa del Rey before getting back to the league. So on to that.
My last question: does this enforce you? I know you told me the league isn't done yet, but does
Mhm.
it enforce you with renewed optimism considering regarding the fortunes of this season?
No, honestly, like it's just again at the end of the day, it's a win against Valencia at 20th,
Mm,
bottom of the table,
mm,
and look at it for what it is. I think
yeah,
nah, not enough credibility to really
mm,
upscale what I expect from this season.
mm,
I still do expect us to win the league.
mm,
Not saying I don't, but
yeah.
I still think it's going to be difficult.
Mm. Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, to answer my own question, I do think this is going to be a huge turning point. The character, the way we kind of never gave up, the way we forced the issue is going to be the template that's gonna pave way for another historic season. And I do think people are going to be surprised by how well we handle 2025. But yeah, fingers crossed. Inshallah, we are there to pounce when the time arrives, like we always do. Ashik was mentioning it doesn't matter if you win by a mile or an inch. A win is a win. And so we move on to the next challenge. We are Real Madrid. We only move forward. We don't have a reverse gear like some pathetic clubs. Um, Big up Madrid TV was mentioning played much better with 10 men. Yeah, it's funny, right? It's funny. Right. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right, Sahil? Big up our
Yep.
partners, Real Madrid Committee. Go check them out. They're on a brilliant Instagram page. The link is in the description below. The OGs, they have been with us since our very first year. Go show some love to Talksport. This podcast is powered by the Talksport Fan Network. Go show some love to manscaped.com. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Go show some love to Fanatics as well, official partners of Real Madrid and La Liga, probably the biggest sports apparel collection online. But yeah, there won't be any previews for the Copa del Rey tie on Monday, nor for the Mallorca game, because I don't know what is there to really talk about. But if we get to a final and if it's a Clasico, keep your eyes peeled. We might have something in store for that. But yeah, January is going to be stacked. We are kind of trying to catch our breath. The schedule is fucking mental. We are kind of trying to juggle our schedules and whatnot. But hopefully, this month is a stepping stone for true greatness for this side. But until next time, people. Ala Madrid.
That was great.